Hey, it is your girl, Amy P, the hiring dietitian, here to simplify the hiring process for all registered dietitians looking to hire new dietitians to your team. Today, I wanted to talk about something super important and something I see very few practice owners actually know when I ask them on the spot. So one of the most important metrics when you are hiring is to determine the profit margin on your registered dietitians that are working for on your team. And so you're going to need to know a handful of things in order to determine that. So obviously we need to know the fixed costs, and then we need to know the costs that change in response to time. So for example, fixed costs would be you pay for their EMR, you probably pay for a biller or an assistant, or a percentage of that would be allocated towards that. You might pay for an email domain. You may pay for health insurance. You might contribute to their 401k. So you might be doing things on a regular basis that happen every single month, and I would consider those a fixed cost. So we need to know that number. And then we also need to know the number of how much we are actually paying them. If you're paying them salary, that's actually more or less like a fixed cost. But if you're paying them per hour, that number would need to be determined. Then what we next need to look at is we need to look at the revenue, right? The amount of money that they're bringing in your insurance-based practice or your cash-based practice. And so we take that number minus those expenses, and that gives us our revenue per dietitian, or basically our profit margin. I would say historically good numbers are like 35 to 50%. Don't be surprised. Your labor is always going to be your biggest cost. So those numbers should not shock you. If they shock you, it probably is the first time you are measuring these metrics. So I would say my number one metric for you guys to be measuring is the profit margin on the registered dietitians, as well as anybody else you hire. These are metrics that we go deep into in my hiring course. I'm going to drop the link below if you want to check that out, because I think a lot of dietitians, there's literally 20 more other metrics you need to know, but that one is the most important. So I'm going to drop the link below. My course can save you a ton of time, a ton of money, and get you going in the right direction. But for right now, I want you to leave this video, go back to your team, and determine the amount of profit you are making per dietitian.